In the last video, I kind of introduced the topic of the Titanic report writing with some juicy idea about class struggle. Was it there? Uh, well, where all the people who were destined to have a disastrous ending of life, were they treated well, equally with other people? So that can create a sensational background for our study, which probably majority of the school going or college going or the university going people will be interested in. Now let's come to the very important aspect of report writing, which is how to decide on which particular variable we are going to look at. The difficulty is that it's a multivariate data, so many variables are there, so we got to be familiar with the types of variable. Is it numerical variable? Is it categorical variable? Is it something to do with the words or numbers? So once we are sure about different kind of variables, we can delve into the real business of identifying my variable for my analysis. So there comes this nifty little thing called paired graph. So what really happens, and I would warn you, most of the students, they don't like this graph because it looks cluttered, not simplistic. So it's not difficult at all if you follow the logic. This is the column, these are the row. So the intersection of this row with that row gives you the credential to this graph. So what I believe, the x-axis is going to be age and y-axis is going to be name for this scatter plot, which we are not interested in for this topic. So I'm going to reject this, and we can sort of justify, we can sort of investigate and find out why we are getting this kind of graph. Is it that age, is it categorical or numerical, name categorical or numerical? So all kinds of questions comes in. But if you look at this graph, it looks more like what is required for inference. We are looking for a comparative box plot side by side, and so this gives you one of the categories, and age perhaps gives you one of the variables. But does it address our ultimate quest, which is, was there any class struggle? Probably it doesn't, because, well, possibly we can look at, from the names, we can look at the culture, the background, or the origin of a person, and from the age we can get some idea about the age category, whether a person is old or young or whatever. But the thing is that this is not going to solve our problem. So let's look at another one. Well, let's look at this one, whether a person survived or not, and then the fear structure. So this might be interesting. Depending on how much a person paid, might make a difference. Was it for the first class, second class, or third class? So I think that could be one of the interesting ones. But one of the problems with this too is you have three categories. So you got to do a little bit of data adjustment. That means we got to combine, at least one or two categories together. And that is not easy because we got to do lots of thinking. So what I am trying to say, with this project, you have to do lots of thinking. And that is what most of the time is not happening with the young people, young students. Last night I received an email. The student was giving me the rather a question, asking me what to write. So I said, just try to write a statistical question, and we have been talking about that for last 2 weeks. And the student came back and said, could you write one of the questions for me so that I can copy it? Now, the thing is that we have been talking about the questions, 6 or 7 categories, categories of object you got to introduce in the question. We talked about it in the classroom at length. I don't know what is the problem. Maybe the student was not listening, or maybe the student's prior knowledge was not good enough. So I got to look into all those matters. What I'm trying to say, it's not easy to write a report. Even the starting point is crucial, can be complex, requires lots of background information, and the people who are writing the report must be well prepared, not only for 5 or 6 days. It is the snapshot of his or her learning life which matters. I'll stop there. Thank you.